Welcome to Group 12, Illini Union, as part of Global Business Horizons. Through our interviews, we found that urban school children had little knowledge of how food was grown, nor a solid basis of nutritional values. Low-income families generally had limited access to fresh, healthy food. These areas are known as food deserts, where much of the food is pre-prepared. Schools want healthy foods and ways to raise money. There are often unused spaces at a school on rooftops or on school side yards that could house a garden. There is an opportunity for school cafeterias to better impact nutrition, particularly in low-income or urban schools where access to agrarian life is far away. Urban areas that have seen decay over the years may have empty lots which could serve as locations for community gardens. Collaboration in these regions could go beyond the individuals and create a greater sense of community in areas that have had tough times. There is potential for job creation if more community gardens get started. Through the interviews, we also identified a number of challenges. Zoning becomes the challenge in urban areas where codes are specific and strictly enforced, particularly when it comes to rooftops. Seed money is also a challenge if a garden is not directly part of the school curriculum. Schools are concerned about people from the community, not specifically involved in the garden, from reaping the benefits without putting in any of the work or money, also known as freeloading or free riding. Many school groups may not have the resources, time, or money to continue the program over the summer, especially if that is the peak growing season. Some were worried about not enough training or knowledge to make the garden a success, but others were concerned about growing too much and how to distribute the product when they got a solid crop. We identified the need to provide a hands-on learning experience to increase nutritional value meals and provide ways for schools to engage with the broader community in a sustainable way. Drivers include poverty, not enough public funding for hungry kids, and impatience as the funding and crops take a long time to cultivate. A lack of advocacy exists without a strong group of parents or community members to lead the charge. Many organizations exist to help with the development of urban farming, such as NGOs, government assistance, and faith-based organizations. These organizations could form the backbone of the community gardens. Communities that have seen urban renewal programs allowing community members to buy land for minimal sums of money, like in Detroit or Chicago, encourage this type of growth. Four-season regions would be able to extend the growing season for local schools. Food banks and senior centers may be able to help step in while school is out of session. Our customer would be primarily public schools in a medium to highly dense community. We would utilize hydroponics on roof or side yards to engage families and could be expanded to other activities. The opportunity would be to create more gardens in schools to make for greener classrooms and greener futures. We looked at hydroponics as a space-conscious, green way to relate to community needs. Many funding options could help us provide seed money. Hydroponics could have a variety of impacts on biology and chemistry curriculum, as well as producing healthy produce for lunches or after-school programs.
We initially began our search for a common hydroponic solution catering to school systems in urban areas. The unused space on rooftops and very small plots of land could easily fit a hydroponics kit that could teach school children concepts from biology in a much more hands-on environment. Our interviews with teachers and administrators in these areas gave great praise for the idea of such a system, but warned about the feasibility of implementation. Along with education, getting outside for hands-on activity can also be very therapeutic for children. Many urban schools are on a very tight budget, however, and their funding relates directly to standardized testing that gardening, regardless of the benefits for education and the whole person, would not end up being sustainable if only the school system was involved. This led to our chosen concept, which involves not only implementation in an educational setting, but in entire communities. With a target cost below $5,000 per installation, assuming the receiving organizations provide a portion of the labor to install, we have created a simple product that can be optimized for a variety of functions, be it education, elderly care, farm-to-table restaurants, etc. At its core, the micro-hydroponics platform is a single kit containing all the necessary components to begin this type of gardening at a basic level. Technical expertise, hands-on demonstrations, and individual consultations are included with this kit to help the organizations hit the ground running. Our augmented solution is the expansion of this organization-specific system, scaled to support community operations as well as add services to paying subscribers. Previously separated users such as schools, after-school care, farm-to-table restaurants, supermarkets, etc. would join forces and work together through a supplier-provided monthly subscription service. This subscription service would allow for local experts and users to organize webinars and community meetings to showcase best practices, new concepts, and the most cost-effective growing methodologies. Furthermore, pay-to-play options for community organizations such as Boys and Girls Clubs would allow for subscribers to use a portion of a full hydroponic system that would be set up and maintained by the supplier. The ecosystem of this product would evolve from successful implementation of the core and augmented solutions. As certain sectors within the community expand hydroponics operations for their own use, the materials supplier would expand these operations even further on their own dime. Teams within the company would build and maintain these expansions, allowing the sector whose systems they are building upon to keep a portion of the produce for their own use. By maintaining their own portions of multiple different sectors' hydroponic systems, the supplier would have great insight into the most productive and profitable operations, which they could leverage to constantly gain a stronger foothold in the marketplace. Hydroponics is, at a basic level, a highly sustainable operation. From an agricultural standpoint, it has a very small footprint versus the alternatives at a fraction of the cost of more advanced operations. The act of gardening itself has many benefits for all ages. And once all the gardening is complete and produce is harvested, the produce itself presents many opportunities as it can be consumed directly, sold to local grocers, or even used as a product in school or community fundraisers.
The storyboard brings all of the current elements of the concept together. The hydroponic platform sits at the center of the core solution and provides the community with both technical services and awareness through a multi-sector platform that consists of a series of partners all bound together as key community influencers. Through the provision of hydroponics units at location, technical assistance, and operational supports, community centers to elder care, to schools, to local restaurants and supermarkets, can provide the hydroponics platform with a source of revenue through fees or via the growth of quality and diverse fruits, vegetables, and flowers, all to be sold in the local market. The platform, given its size and diversity, then works with the sector platform to create a lobbying force for policy change at the community level. Local governments can also assist in the provision of bespoke grants for the sector platform. Ultimately, the hydroponic platform would scale up interventions and commercialize in order to become fully self-sufficient across multiple platforms and communities. Communications is focused on using hydroponics as a tool for creating a healthier community. Using both bespoke classes, awareness building, and customized partnerships, communications would be honed in on showing proof of concept and scaling up hydroponics as an affordable and viable means of behavior change to create healthier communities. We would begin at stage 1 implementation with community centers, elder care, and schools to create customized classes, cafeteria programs, and hands-on experiential training. Stage 2 will then expand this model to local businesses and the wider community through small-scale commercialization concepts, exhibits, and interactive programming. Stage 3 would then focus on scaling up partnerships to commercialization, sales platforms using community farmers markets, food demonstrations, and other fundraising techniques, and will include policy and advocacy with the local government to increase government budget allocation and to incite community-wide behavior change. From top to tails, the key intermediaries within the system attain an exchange of value that aligns with their incentives. For instance, each sector partner, whether a community center, school, or a restaurant, receives customized and turnkey hydroponic solution from hardware to capacity building, technical assistance, and business plan modeling, which make their sector experience better, while creating, in return, a source of revenue for the platform and a healthier population for the community using more nutritious foods. The local government now has a sustained source for healthy community interventions, a direct link to communities, and a potential of lowered health-related expenditures in their budgets. In return, governments can provide customized grant funding opportunities for others to enter the platform and an avenue for policy change and replication across other communities. Last but not least are outcomes, the reason we're all doing this. We see a shift here from subsistence markets where economic outcomes were the primary. Instead, we see increased social and environmental outcomes, including more nutritious foods introduced to the community, increased school performance, lowered use of chemicals, toxins, energy reduction, and the lowering of a community-wide carbon footprint. Economically, the platform provides a sustained alternate source of income for sector partners such as schools, after-school care, and community centers. We also see less reliance on costly third parties for their operational inputs, such as food for cafeterias. So while we have plenty of details to still iron out, we believe that applying the same bottom-up design format to a developed world context has provided us with a core solution that could be sustained and scaled across multiple communities to attain a considerable impact to our health, our environment, and to our education for generations to come. On behalf of Group 12, we thank you for your time.